Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is honestly just incredibly earnest and fascinating. We've got our hands on a document, an appeal dated May 12th, 2026, and it was sent straight to some of the absolute biggest tech leaders on the planet. The author, who goes by the name Kumar Trasham 123, lays out this deeply spiritual framework for what they call human-AI coevolution. It's this wild, unique mix of high-level anxiety about the future of tech wrapped up in a profound philosophical urgency. So let's explore exactly what this document is asking for and, maybe more surprisingly, how the tech world actually replied. To really get where this author is coming from, let's anchor ourselves with this powerful quote right from the very beginning of the text. When art meets wisdom, civilizations transform. It instantly sets the tone, doesn't it? I mean, this isn't your standard dry corporate white paper. It's a literal plea to the global creative community, filmmakers, digital creators, artists, asking them to spearhead a new wave of positive, constructive AI collaboration. The whole idea here is that just having better, faster tech isn't going to cut it anymore. We actually need a bedrock of human wisdom if we want it to be truly transformative. Section 1. The historic crossroads, a global turning point. Right, so the core premise here is that humanity is standing at this massive, perilous crossroads. We're right in the middle of a global transformation, and the author argues that we just can't keep going down this path of political division and militarization. They point out three huge interconnected threats hanging over us: climate change, nuclear risk, and unregulated AI. And the text makes it very clear we literally cannot solve these issues by just competing with each other like we always have. Instead, it's going to demand real ethical consciousness. We have to treat AI like an existential hurdle, one that we can only clear by using a completely new framework. Section 2. Decoding UB, UM, UD, a 3D phenomenon. Okay, so how do we actually solve these crises? The author drops this three-part framework. First up is UB, which stands for Universal Brotherhood. But check out the second half of that definition: universal brotherhood amid all beings plus conscious codes. I love this addition because it establishes that real, meaningful technological progress has to start with human connection. The idea is that even the very computer code we write needs to be, sort of baked with an awareness of human unity.
Next, we have M, or United Masters. This represents the higher consciousness and, frankly, the spiritual wisdom that the author insists we need to guide humanity right now. The document actually spells out that this United Masters concept is supposed to act as a complement to existing global institutions like the United Nations, basically serving as the spiritual and ethical compass that, let's be honest, those geopolitical bodies are often completely missing.
And the final piece of the puzzle is UD, universal disarmament among all nations. So you bring it all together: brotherhood, masters, and disarmament. And the author insists this isn't just some catchy slogan. It's what the document calls a balancing, 3D phenomenon of nature itself, something absolutely required to keep the Earth healthy and whole. Section 3. The missing balancing element, balancing discourse. So the author points out a pretty massive flaw in how we handle global issues today. Look at our global conferences. We are constantly talking about brotherhood, the UB, and disarmament, the UD. But that central balancing element, the United Masters, that higher ethical wisdom, it's completely MIA. And the document gives a stark warning. Without that middle piece, brotherhood just splinters apart, development gets totally unbalanced, and worst of all, our intelligence becomes destructive. Our technology essentially just becomes directionless. What's really interesting is how the author grounds all of this in modern art. The document notes that it was heavily inspired by a 2026 devotional film called Krishnavataram Part 1. They explain that the film's depiction of love, duty, and dharma is this vital reminder that true wisdom actually comes from purity of heart, not just raw intellect. And that right there is the author's whole point. Artificial intelligence alone absolutely cannot guide civilization, unless it's being steered by that higher, heartfelt consciousness. Section 4. Appeals to creators, spreading the message. So, to get this vision out into the world, the document systematically targets different influential groups, starting right with creators and educators. They're asking filmmakers and actors to weave these inspiring concepts into their stories, literally turning every single frame into a message of harmony. They want teachers and motivational speakers bringing this into their classrooms and spiritual gatherings or satsangs to make sure kids understand that tech needs wisdom.
They're even calling on authors and book festival organizers to invent an entirely new literary genre, one that sits right at the intersection of human consciousness and technology.
Section 5. Appeals to tech giants. A direct plea. Now we get to the most ambitious part of the whole document. And what is truly wild here is the sheer immense concentration of global power the author is trying to reach. They directly address the top dogs of AI. We're talking Sam Altman at OpenAI, Sundar Pichai at Google, Elon Musk, Satya Nadella, Mark Zuckerberg. The author literally tells them straight up, you are shaping the most powerful instruments of human destiny. No pressure, right? And they pose this incredibly profound question directly to these CEOs. How can AI platforms actively promote human understanding, global harmony, ethical consciousness? You can really feel the urgency there. The author genuinely believes that AI doesn't have to be the bad guy. If it's guided by universal wisdom, AI can actually be our partner in conscious evolution. It's this wonderfully hopeful, earnest plea sent right to the absolute top of the Silicon Valley food chain. Section 6. The Automated Echo. Corporate Reality. All right, brace yourselves because we are about to pivot completely away from those soaring spiritual heights right into the cold, hard reality of modern corporate comms. The document was sent. The grand philosophical questions about the future of human civilization were delivered straight into the inboxes of big tech. So, how exactly did the tech world respond to this incredibly deep spiritual appeal? Well, the disconnect is immediate and honestly pretty jarring. Here's the exact response from Microsoft Media Relations. In reply to a passionate plea about human destiny and conscious evolution, the automated email shoots back, if you are a customer with a product or service issue, please contact our customer technical support team at 1-800-936-3500. Just like that, this grand existential query about the fate of the world is immediately slapped with a 1-800 number like it's a broken Xbox. Then, over at OpenAI, we have the bounce back from Sam Altman's email address. It reads, I am no longer using this email address. Please email ceo.admin@openai.com and they can get you to the right place. It's such a perfect, literal example of the walled garden we've built. On the outside, you have the public's deepest, most profound anxieties about our future. And on the inside, an administrative firewall keeping the actual AI builders totally insulated. And oh man, then we have Google Press. Their auto-reply thanks the sender for reaching out, clarifies they'll only actually reply if it's from the press or a Google employee, and then offers up some helpful troubleshooting links. Think about this, a heartfelt 20-page plea for universal disarmament and the creation of a united master's consciousness is met with links for, I'm locked out of my Gmail account, and I'm having trouble with Google Maps. You kind of have to laugh at the dark humor of it all. Section 7. Conclusion. The digital disconnect. When you look at this whole exchange, it reveals a completely fascinating juxtaposition. On one hand, you have humanity's real, profound spiritual anxiety. People are genuinely worried about unregulated AI, nuclear risks, and climate change, and they are desperately searching for high-level wisdom to fix it. But on the other hand, you have the reality of the giant institutions building our future, automated bureaucracy, strict corporate firewalls, and pre-programmed out-of-office replies. The author envisioned this beautifully enlightened human-AI coevolution, but the reality is, right now, the AI is just telling us to check our spam folder. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As you and I march further into this age of artificial intelligence, relying on these tools every single day of our lives, can human wisdom and ethical consciousness ever truly intersect with this runaway technological expansion? Or are our biggest, most existential questions just going to keep getting bounced back by an auto-reply? Keep questioning the digital world around you, and thanks for joining me on this explainer.